Sarwar, this gathering may not be as grand as you're used to, but one most important thing is the people here, most of your friends here from all Pakistan parties and the British parties, and Mr. Noor and Lord Saab, and of course the next parliamentary candidates travelled all the way from, our parties travelled to come and pay these tribute. You've got your friends, Francis Stool and so forth, and Mr. Shari Saab, Professor. There have been so many here, Shah Saab, and you can see them yourself here from all parties have come here to show their respect to you. And we're grateful for Lord Ahmed for facilitating all of this and always supporting us. So, our next guest is Mr. David Steele. Mr. David Steele, although he does not need any introduction, but here is Lord Steele, I'm so sorry. Lord Steele is a man who has changed the political hemisphere of Britain. He's a man, who's a pioneer, who stood there. This man, any other parties, had he been to the smallest parties, would most certainly have been the Prime Minister of this country. Great man, a fellow Scotsman of Mr. Sarwar, and I'd like to congratulate them on the Scottish team performed last week. Lord Steele, congratulations. Through great spirit. For a man of your caliber to come and pay tribute to your great friend, fellow Scot, we are indebted to you. Lord Steele.
I must say, it's not from every week broadcast who's going to be in the House of Lords, but it's nice being Prime Minister. It's a wonderful guy. My apologies that I too have to disappear, so I'm glad to say a few words in support of Mohammed Sarwar. And I'm very embarrassed by all this talk about brothers and nieces, because the truth is, I've been around this building longer than any of you, much longer than any of you. And I can remember, well, that's kind of good, but I remember the awful struggles we had going back to the late 60s on legislation, on immigration, on race relations. I remember the foul slogans that used to be hurled at those of us who were promoting sensible legislation. One of the things that was said was, would you allow your daughter to marry a woman? And I used to laugh about that because my daughter married a boy from Delhi. And when he came to live in the Deuce border town of Peebles in my constituency, I teased him and said we increased the minorities in Peebles by about 100%. And of course they grabbed him for the cricket team immediately. But anyway, the reason that I appeared to support Mohammed Sarwar was that you've talked about him being the first Muslim MP, yes. And he was also the first ethnic minority member to be elected to anything in Scotland. I mean, now there are many in local councils in the Scottish Parliament, but he blazed the trail. And you have referred, Chairman, to his work on behalf of the shipbuilding. Govan is a very deprived area of Glasgow, London in Scotland. He has been their advocate, their champion over these years. And of course, reference has been made to the comfort that he was able to bring to the relatives of that boy in Glasgow who was murdered. I think his reputation as a member in Glasgow, leave aside his background or his religion, is just fantastic. And he's done so much therefore to harmonise the population of Scotland in general, so I hope that will be okay. And I look back to all the struggles that we had in the late 60s, and I'm just so pleased and so happy that we can have a gathering like this in the House of Lords, which we would be thought to be quite extraordinary in my early days. So it's a privilege to be here. And I'll miss him for another reason. He and I share accommodation in a little block, a modest little block across there. So I shall miss him in the mornings, unless, of course, he comes to the House of Lords and stays there, because I think he's handed him. So I hope still to see you wandering around, not quite in your pajamas, but anyway, thank you for inviting me, and it's a great pleasure to be here. I'm not going to say goodbye to him, because I hope it doesn't go. Thank you very much.
Steele, thank you very much. I'd just like to add one thing. There's so much about Lord Steele one can say, but we mentioned Sarwar has released one or two people recently, or however many. But Lord Steele, is it not true that about a week or two ago you also released a British subject from one of the Middle Eastern countries? And I'd like to give him a round of applause. It might be slow, but we get there in the end, you know. Our next guest Sarwar Sahib, just should say to you how many people love you and respect you. One room is not sufficient, so we have to have continuous smaller meetings, and you'll have to bear with us, and there'll probably be 1,000 before the election tributes to you. Our next guest is Mr. Ali Raza Sayyed, Chairman of the Kashmir Council for Europe. He has travelled all the way from Europe today to be here, sir, and I think we are humbled that a man has travelled together with his colleague all the way from Europe to say a few words in your honour. Thank you. All the way from Brussels.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to be with you here today, and it's thanks to Lord Nazir Ahmad who invited us to this ceremony. You know, Judge Sarwar Sahib, I met him in 2001 in Islamabad in a meeting. There was a sojourn Pakistan. And you were the part of that group, I think. And it is by, we came, Chaudhry Parvez Losar, he's a friend of mine from Brussels, and we came here just to pay tribute to your efforts and your contribution to the country, to Pakistan, and the Kashmir cause also, and whatever you have done for the people of Kashmir in art trade and for the rest of the cause. And I hope that you will continue to help the people of Kashmir over there, and we in Belgium especially and in mainland Europe, we will follow the roadmap or as you have the success in this society. We are trying to build our community over there also, and one day I hope that in Belgium also we will have the people who will follow you in the same path. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shah Sahib. Our next guest, also a great friend of Sarwar Sahib, has helped him immensely with his charity work. Through the charity work, they were known as the Twins. Every time Sarwar Sahib wanted support in his charity work, Mr. Noor was there, a great, eminent businessman. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Ghulam. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. It's Lord Nazir Ahmad, my friend, my brother, Muhammad Sarwar. And indeed, it's a privilege for me to be sitting next to him today. And he is I would say one word, and politically everyone has said so many things about him, which I fully understand and I echo their voices. But one thing I would say about him is a man of commitment. Whether somebody is in trouble in Glasgow, in his neighborhood, or whether it is in Pakistan, somebody is in trouble in Pakistan, he will not hesitate to go there and do his damnedest to make sure that the problem is resolved. And that is the commitment the man has. Sarwar Sahib, you are surrounded by love and affection. You are surrounded by your friends and who speak so eloquently for you, and that demonstrates your credibility. You don't need credibility from anyone. The first credibility you need is from your friends and family, which you have. I am delighted that, well, you have done your work. Now you want to go and the other side of the path, and I wish you all the best. And I'm sure you will be there, and we will still work together. And I have all the respect for you. You are a man who works with determination and tenacity, and a man cannot be forgiven easily, and you will never be forgotten in the House of Commons. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir. Our next guest is a lady, Yasmin Qureshi Sahiba. As I said earlier, we have Sarwar Sahib, who came into House of Commons. We have Lord Nazir Sahib, who came into House of Lords. Then we had Baroness Warsi, a female representative.
Urdu was there before me.
No, sir, I'm coming from Pakistan, sir, sir. And then I'll come.
I understood that. You don't have to.
Yes, I'm mentioning, the theology actually. I'm mentioning 10 times, that's not a problem. But it's the energy. So, Sarwar Sahib from those regions, then of course, Lord Amir, and then Baranaswasi,